Guys, Jeff Howard here at Kiteboarding.com. Now, I got to tell you, we get a lot of questions about fly lines, and I've got fly lines coming out my ears. I've got them up here on spools. We make hundreds and hundreds of sets per year. But a lot of the questions are, how long should my lines be? What is a normal set of fly line lengths? Why would I want to add extensions? And what does that make a difference? Well, to let you know, when it comes to fly lines, most of the fly lines that are made nowadays are definitely strong enough. They're, if they touch something or they get a cut in them, is usually the only failure that we see in fly lines. They're not normally breaking at all. They're fully loaded. Most of them can take ratings from anywhere from 800 to 1,000 pounds, and some of them are bigger than that. So it's not a big worry about what size fly lines you're flying on or the strength of them. It's usually about the length when it comes to a rider. Now, lengthwise, the most common that manufacturers put on can go from anywhere from about 22 to 23 all the way up to about 25 meters. That's pretty standard. Now, some people ask, well, why not make them a little longer? Well, what happens when you make them longer is they slow down the reaction of the kite, and the wind window is bigger. So if you think about your kite being, here you are standing here, and your kite, the further it is up here, the longer it has to go through the power window, and that will generate usually more power for it, but it will slow down the reaction. So if you like to do kite loops, the kite wants to drop down, and it takes a while for it to get to the edge of the window. Now, as you get them closer, then you're going to get a faster reaction, as well as the smaller of the power window. So if you want to get up and get going and get more load out of a kite, yeah, going up and extending those lines a little bit further, not huge. It's not like you go, if you did go big ones, we have done and doubled up line sets, but it's just not feasible and not usable in us riding. So usually, and most common good concept is to go off of, if I'm foiling, I'm on a 20-meter line set. I want my kite to move quick, give me my power as I get up on foil, and that works. If I want to get a little bit more power out of it, more power stroke, I usually add on 3-meter extensions. That's my personal liking. Now, some guys come in and they'll have a 22-meter setup and they want to lengthen them out to 25. That's very common and very easy. Now, if you want to get a lot of power out of it, and you want to try to get as light wind as possible and keeping that kite in a larger motion, then maximum I've ever seen anybody go up to is really about 30 meters to make it feasible and usable to get out there and ride. So let's just say, for instance, if I'm flying smaller kites, you can usually go down smaller lines, shorter lines to a certain point. If you get up into bigger foils, I usually minimum about a 9-meter, 8-meter foil, minimum line lengths I put out is about 23. And the reason is I want to be able to turn that kite in a full loop without having to stall it to get it to turn. I want a good full stroke to get me up and get going in whatever it is. Now, some guys are talking about doing around the world and doing these types of tricks on foils, and they're going down with really short lines. Yes, it does help. Or racers sometimes will run short lines on very big kites. And that's to get that kite closer, and it increases its speed to the wind window. But the common rider, it is very difficult to mess with anything like that. When you get them down below 20 meters, you get down to those 15 and 18, the power stroke in the kite is so tiny, it doesn't give you a whole lot of power. So, all in all, I tell you, if you're looking at line lengths and you think it's going to gain, it's not massive. It's those little bit of increments that will give you either a little bit more power, or the kite will be faster in response in turning, doing kite loops and stuff. So average, stick to those 22, 23. If the manufacturer recommends it, believe me, they have pros out there testing it and all their riders, and they have matched that with their kites, and to get the best performance out of them and get the best angle of attack. But again, if you have any questions about any of this stuff, about fly lines or what you should add on, hey, don't hesitate. Give us a call here. We've been doing this for over 20 years. We're happy to get it going. Inspect your lines, folks. That's one big thing. Please check your gear. Your fly lines are your safety connection to your kite and holding all that load. And a lot of people don't inspect them, clean them, take care of them. They don't come back to us, and you won't have to have a new set. Anyway, that's Jeff Howard here at Kiteboarding.com to keep you on the water and get your fly lines fixed.